Welcome. Scott here. Here is a quick boss guide for the upcoming SHINRYU event, Dimensions and Transcendence Tier Final. Before I proceed further, here is a quick overview on how Transcendence works. For any Transcendence stages, your party will get boosted stats if you bring a burst unit for the fight. To access Dimensions and Transcendence, you need to clear up to Tier 5 of Dimensions and Entropy. You cannot use any of the characters locked to the tier for other tiers unless you unlock them. Unlike the previous Transcendence fights, there are no Crucibles fights to clear for this tier. The main fight is a two-wave fight where you will fight the SHINRYU boss itself. In the first wave, you will fight the SHINRYU first form, which has 40 million HP. In the second wave, you will fight the SHINRYU final form, which has 4 forms where you will see different color emitting from it. In total it has around 306 million HP. The turn requirement is 75 and the HP requirements is 15,000. Before I continue further, here is a small disclaimer clause for the video. The guide is written based on the time that the event that the stage was released for the Japanese version. Please do note that it is possible that the boss fight mechanics might differ when the actual event is released in global. On the screen, you see a quick overview of how the fight will flow. For both fights, if you delay the boss by 2 turns or more, boss will gain an instant turn. So, if you ever need to use a 2-turn delay utility, make sure you are keeping the boss brave in check or have counter utility to handle these instant turns. At Wave 1, SHINRYU will use Chaotic Deluge where it will apply auras that lower your party max HP, Initial Brave, and Max Brave. Its basics attacks are brave attacks. Once you get to Wave 2, you will see the boss going through the colored auras as you lower its HP. For this wave, the boss will hide its turn from the force gauge and becomes immune to delay from breaks. The boss starts off at 90 million HP. After using Intimidate, it will gain a white aura. It will also use Trinity, an AoE brave attack that applies the fire energy field where it will gain an aura like the Chaotic Deluge in Wave 1 with an additional potent brave sap. After you deplete the HP to 2% or lower, it will use Intimidate ++ where it recovers back 81 million HP or 90% of its HP gauge. It will follow up with Trinity Plus which allows it to gain offensive aura. Trinity Plus will only be trigger if you give a turn to act. After you deplete the HP again to 2% or lower, it will use Intimidate Plus where it recovers back 72 million HP or 80% of its HP gauge. It will follow up with Trinity ++ which applies the Icebind field effect which immobilize your party and your party will not act until it acts. Trinity ++ will trigger only if you let the boss take a turn. After you deplete the HP again to 2% or lower, it will use Intimidate where it will recover back 63 million HP or 70% of its HP gauge. Defeating this boss this time will end the fight for good. Upon activating the yellow aura with Intimidate Plus or red aura with Intimidate, the boss will drain up all its force gauge. This is followed by collecting energy phase. If you let the boss force gauge reaches 50%, it will use Trinity. The variant will depend on the previous Trinity use. I will discuss more on the triggers in the later slides. So, you have a rough concept of the fight overview. Let me briefly discuss on what characters you can consider bringing for the fight. As this is a single target boss fight, bring single target specialist like Tifa, General Leo, 7, Lightning, Arania or Astos are great here. If you are planning to do a hit and counter, brave control utility and damage mitigation is important here. Examples are Setzer, Karasame, Sephiroth, and Iris for brave control. You can consider bringing Zack, Warrior of Light, Ruby Conte, or Beatrix for damage mitigation options. You can also bring force chargers like Aerith, Iris, Charlotta, Rosa, Braska, etc. so you can get access your force gauge before the boss does. If your party has a burst unit, you will start off with a 50% of your force gauge thanks to the party synergy effect. To handle the Trinity mechanics, you can bring off-turn attacking units like Core, Ruby Conte, Orin, or Beatrix. Alternatively, you can negate their brave gains with trap debuff units like Quina, Ace, Machina, etc. Follow-up attackers like Kain, Freya, Leo, Noctis, Dorgan, Cisnei, or Yang are good options to consider if they are available. The Shinryu ticket challenge will require you to use Setzer here. So, remember to free him up so you can earn the ticket for the next event. Okay, let's proceed with the in-depth review of the fight mechanics. Firstly, let us start off with the first wave. Like most other Shinryu fights, the boss gains increased brave damage and gain resistances at start of the fight and 79% HP threshold. Bringing a support like Iris, Setzer, Braska, Rosa, Lunafreya, Charlotta, Aerith, Ramza, Yuna, Iroha, Pernello, Garnet, Selphie, or Rem that grants damage boosting aura will make your fight easier. As the boss gains substantial boost to their defenses with the auras, it is important to inflict debuffs that lower their defenses. At the start of the fight, the boss will use Chaotic Deluge where it will apply the following field effect. Your party max HP will be lowered by 50%. Your party initial brave and max brave will be lower by 200%. This is followed by a prompt instant turn rate if delayed 2 or more turns at once. The boss will gain an instant turn whenever you use an ability that delays the boss by 2 or more turns. If you bringing units with 2-turn utility like Lightning or Arania, just be mindful of that. Now let us talk a bit about its force ability. As this is a Shinryu fight, the boss will also gain boost as the force gauge build up. The charging speed will increase faster as the boss HP deplete. You can refer the table on bottom of the screen for more details. Throughout the fight, the boss will apply aura that boost its defense by 100% while boosting its brave and HP damage resistance by 90%. The boss will also become immune to turn deletion. When the gauge reaches 50% and above, it will gain aura that raises its attack, brave damage, and HP damage by 100%. When the gauge reaches 100%, it will use its force ability Fulgent Rain Plus, which is a reset break status, followed by an AoE Brave plus HP attack executed twice and activate its force time for 3 turns. When the force time is activated, you will see a red hue emitting from its force gauge. The boss will gain enhancements where it will further reduce HP damage received by another 50% and freeze your party recast. This will shut down the cheese strategy involving the infamous ult Quina combo. The boss attacks will deal max brave damage or rainbow brave damage during its force time. To cancel the force time, in this stage, you just need to use a ranged FR. The boss has 2 basic attacks and rotates between them throughout the fight. Levin Bolt Plus is a single target brave attack and grants the boss 1-turn brave regen buff. Tidal Wave Plus is an AoE brave attack that grants the boss 1-turn HP regen buff that restores 1% of its max HP. Upon defeating the boss in this wave, you will move on to the next phase of the fight in Wave 2. Now let us move on to part 2 of the guide. Do be mindful of your HP conditions if you have spheres that triggers based on HP condition at the start of the wave like Sephiroth's sphere. Like most other Shinryu fights, the boss gains increased brave damage and gain resistances at start of the fight and 79% HP threshold. Bringing a support like Setzer, Iris, Braska, Rosa, Lunafreya, Charlotta, Aerith, Ramza, Yuna, Iroha, Pernello, Garnet, Selphie, or Rem that grants damage boosting aura will make your fight easier. As the boss gains substantial boost to their defenses with the auras, it is important to inflict debuffs that lower their defenses. The boss has 3 basic attacks. Unlike the previous wave, the boss does not have fixed rotation. When it is targeting a single ally, it can use Screech of Oblivion, which is a single ranged brave attack and grants the boss a 1-turn framed regen buff that restores brave equates to 100% of its initial brave. After it has activated Intimidate Plus or Intimidate, it will incorporate Chime Rain, which is a single magic brave attack to its moveset. When it is targeting all, it will Errant Calamity, which is a reset break status followed by an AoE Brave plus HP attack. After using the attack, the boss will gain brave that equates to 50% of its max brave. The attack will also apply 2 frame debuffs, attack -100% and defense -100% for 5 turns. Now let us talk a bit about its force ability. As this is a Shinryu fight, the boss will also gain boost 2 as the force gauge build up. The charging speed will increase faster as the boss HP deplete. You can refer the table on the screen for more details. Throughout the fight, the boss will apply aura that boost its defense by 100% while boosting its brave and HP damage resistance by 90%. The boss also becomes immune to turn deletion. The boss force gauge charge rate will increase by 2% whenever it takes a turn and 4% whenever your party takes a turn. When the gauge reaches 50% and above, it will gain aura that raises its attack, brave damage, and HP damage by 100%. When the gauge reaches 100%, it will use its force ability Errant Calamity Plus, which is a reset break status, followed by an AoE Brave plus HP attack executed twice and activate its force time for 20 turns. When the force time is activated, you will see a red hue emitting from its force gauge. The boss will gain enhancements where it will further reduce HP damage received by another 50% and freeze your party recast. This will shut down the cheese strategy involving the infamous ult Quina combo. The boss attacks will deal max brave damage or rainbow brave damage during its force time. To cancel the force time, in this stage, you just need to use a magic FR that grants buff. Other than Setzer's FR, Beatrix, and Hope are other options that can meet the conditions. The boss can also cancel its own force time when you meet certain conditions. I will discuss more on this in the upcoming slides. Upon entering the wave, the boss will use Intimidate+++. This is followed by a prompt instant turn rate if delayed 2 or more turns at once. The boss will gain an instant turn whenever you use an ability that delays the boss by 2 or more turns. If you are bringing units like Lightning or Arania, just be mindful of that. Upon activating Intimidate+++, the boss will gain the following. A white aura will glow in the background. The boss raises its speed by 50%. It will hide its turn from the CTB gauge. The boss also become immune to delay from breaks. The boss will unveil its turn whenever it is time to take its turn. After activating the Intimidate aura, it will use Trinity. Trinity is a magic brave attack that will activating the following prompt filling the field with fire energy. The boss will apply an aura field effect that will lower your party's max HP by 50% and lowers both initial and max brave by 200%. It will apply a brave sap effect that drain 100% of your unit brave whenever your units take its turn. To move on to the next phase, you need to lower its HP to 2%. As you progress through the fight, the boss will use Intimidate whenever you go to the next phase. The color of the aura will change in the following aura where it goes from white to blue to yellow and lastly red. While its white aura is active, after you deplete the HP to 2% or lower, it will use Intimidate++ where it recovers back 81 million HP or 90% of its HP gauge. It will follow up with Trinity Plus which allows it to gain offensive aura if you give a turn to act. While its blue aura is active, after you deplete the HP again to 2% or lower, it will use Intimidate Plus where it recovers back 72 million HP or 80% of its HP gauge. It will follow up with Trinity Plus which applies the Icebind field effect which immobilize your party and your party will not act until it acts. Trinity Plus will trigger only if you let the boss take a turn. While its yellow aura is active, after you deplete the HP again to 2% or lower, it will use Intimidate where it will recover back 63 million HP or 70% of its HP damage. Defeating this boss this time will end the fight for good. Generally, you can skip all subsequent Trinity trigger if you have killed the boss after initial Trinity triggered. But this will require your party to have support auras that could overpower the penalty that the fire energy field that Trinity applies. To do this, you need to have maximum gear for your characters like maxed enhancement boards, force enhancement boards, and max ultima weapon. You will need to bring a strong single target attacker, follow-up attacking unit and support unit for the auras with Rain's LDCA. Now let me cover a bit on the Trinity attacks. Overall, the boss has 3 types of Trinity attack. It will start off Trinity, followed by Trinity Plus and lastly Trinity Plus Plus. All Trinity are AoE magic brave attacks. Trinity will apply the fire energy field effect where it will lower your party max HP by 50% and lowers your party initial and max brave by another 200%. It will also apply a sap effect that drains 100% of your unit's current brave. Trinity will be used immediately after it uses Intimidate. Trinity Plus will apply the thunder energy field effect where it will grant offensive damage boosting aura to the boss. It will raise its brave and HP damage by 50%, raises its brave gains by 50%, grants its brave regen aura and gains 100% brave damage resistance against non-elemental brave damage. Upon activating the thunder energy field effect, it will cancel any active field effect auras. Trinity Plus Plus will apply the ice energy field effect where it will apply Icebind field effect. Icebind will bypass evasion and debuff immunity. Your party will turn into ice. The aura will only be removed when the boss takes a turn. This can be annoying as it means you will most probably lose 3 precious turns during this phase. If you play with the boss for too long, it is possible that you can see the boss using Trinity while it is emitting the red aura. Generally, Trinity will trigger immediately after it uses Intimidate and takes a turn. It will use Trinity Plus after it gains the blue aura with Intimidate Plus Plus. It will use Trinity Plus Plus after it gains the yellow aura with Intimidate Plus. However, it is also possible to skip past triggers with your burst or summon phase since Trinity won't trigger while in your summon or burst phase. Upon triggering the Intimidate Plus, the yellow aura, or Intimidate, the red aura, you will see the following prompt trigger: Shinryu's force gauge diminished. If the force gauge is not empty, it will empty out the gauge. If it activated its force time, it will cancel its force time as well. This is immediately followed by collecting energy phase. The boss will enter Might Unbound state when its force gauge reaches 50% and it will trigger Trinity. The level of Trinity will depend on the previous Trinity trigger. If the previous Trinity triggered is Trinity Plus, it will trigger Trinity Plus Plus. If the previous Trinity triggered is Trinity Plus Plus, it will trigger Trinity. If you triggered Might Unbound while it is in the yellow aura phase, the Might Unbound stance will be cancelled once you deplete its HP and trigger Intimidate or the red aura phase. I have summarized the effect in the table shown on the screen. With this I have covered the gist of the basic boss mechanics. Let me proceed with a quick overview of the featured FR unit, Setzer. Setzer is a great aura bot with great utility like delay, brave cap damage or rainbow and brave control with his famous freeze joker. With this event, he gets slight upgrades to number of HP dumps and some minor reworks on his auras. Before I cover on his burst aura, let us talk a bit about the force conditions for his FR. Upon using his FR, Setzer will grant himself 12 turn fixed dice buff and 6 turn fixed dice buff for the allies along with AoE magic brave plus HP attack. While the force time is active and the boss broken or you have inflicted break on them, the party will gain 50% HP damage up and raises the max brave cap by 50%. Let me cover a bit on the force conditions. 1. If the enemy brave is at 0 or inflicted with break while your unit is taking its turn, you will get 30% HP damage bonus. Setzer awesome freeze joker will prevent brave gains. So, you will meet this condition easily except for fights that features brave floor mechanics. You can abuse this condition with supercharging strategy for 80% with a supercharge skill. 2. Dealing at least 9,999 with your unit's brave hit, you will get 40% HP damage bonus. Setzer's fixed dice buff gives every member in the party 70% chance of hitting rainbow. You can easily meet this condition if there are minimal brave damage resistances and the units have their own Lithuania HG armor equipped. Setzer FR is one of the best generic FR phases. I highly recommend that you get him if you are doing the Black Crystal quests. This FR phase will allow every Black Crystal unit to meet it easily. His BT finisher is an AoE Magic Brave plus HP attack. The duration of BT aura will varies depending on RNG. The BT aura duration will randomize from a minimum 6 turns to maximum 12 turns. His BT aura provide generic auras to the party like raises their brave damage cap by 20% and max brave cap by another 30%. If you use Setzer as your main FR phase, you will get 80% max brave cap for the party. As his motif is a gambler, his BT aura also has a RNG element. Your party members have 70% chance of hitting max HP damage on the turn. This BT will guaranteed maximum HP damage regardless of boss HP mitigation effects. You can be doing 1 brave hits while dealing out max HP damage. Similar to Quina BT aura, there are certain HP gates mechanics that you can't bypass this aura. Overall, Setzer is a very good unit to get and one of the game's best support characters. Generally, there is a lot of comparison between Setzer and Quina. While they have similar kits, Setzer offers more utility with his kit than Quina. His fixed dice empowers the entire team with Rainbow while Quina Rainbow applies to itself only. Setzer has delay utility while Quina has reset break status and ignore defense traps. Setzer has better brave control with his freeze joker utility. Setzer has a faster EX recast that constantly batterying his allies. In off-turn setting, Quina will provide a better support with brave control using its trap. However, in a rush-down strategy, Setzer will be better with his delays with his red cards and rainbow brave cap damage utility. With this, I have come to the end of the guide. Hopefully, this will help you. If you like the video, please give it a like. If you are looking forward to future content like this, please subscribe to my channel. This will help a lot in the growth of the channel. Good luck for the event in the coming days and bye.